Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group 4. We'll explaining about value added text for special relationship and self-building activities. Our group consists of Ayu Safitri, Aura Josiana, and me Arif Rahman Hakim. First, we start with value added text or VAT for special relationship. Special relationship criteria. A special relationship between mandatory may occur due to dependence or linkage between one and another. Due to, first, ownership or equity participation and mastery through management or use of technology. Apart from this thing, the special relationship of individual taxpayer can also occur because of blood relation or because of marriage. Based on provision of Article 18, Paragraph 4 of the Income Tax Law, a special relationship is deemed to exist if taxpayers have direct or indirect equity participation of at least 25% in another taxpayer. A relationship between taxpayer and participation of at least 25% in two or more taxpayers, as well as the relationship between two or more taxpayers maintain less, or the taxpayer control other taxpayer or more taxpayers are under the same control either directly or indirectly, or there is a family relationship either by blood or by marriage in straight line and 1 degree sideways. The example of the special relationship is 1. The purchase of sale of goods whose price do not match the market, that is, higher or lower. Second, purchase of sale of property or property, plant and equipment, the price of which is not fair. 3. Providing or receiving service at reasonable price, transferring research and development costs. This is done with the aim of lowering profit in places where the taxes are higher. 4. Allocation of joint costs for the whole company. 5. Funding with unreasonable condition. 6. Guarantees and guarantee. 7. Management contract. And 8. Tax treatment of special relationship. With respect to transaction between taxpayers who have special relationship within the country, the tax law in Indonesia address to the material principle. In transfer pricing, the applicable price is not the actual price, but the price that should be. In PSAK No. 7, paragraph 7, state that related party can be carried out at different price for similar transaction with other party who are not related. And in paragraph 9, the related party does not need or do not require to disclose the effect of the price difference because of the inherent difficulty of management in determining the effect of the non-occurrence of transaction. Okay, next will be continued by my teammates.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ayu Safitri, and now I will continue the presentation. The slide about VAT on self-building activities. Self-building activity are building construction activity that are not carried out in business activity or work by individual or entities whose results are used alone or used by other parties. Okay, building in the form of one or more technical construction that are permanently planned or attached to a single unit of land and or water with the following criteria. A. The main construction consists of wood, concrete, masonry, or similar material or steel. B. Designed for residence or place of business activity. And total area at least 200 square meters. Okay, about rates. The VAT of sale activity rate is 2% of total expenditure. That rate is an effective rate derived from 10%, which is the VAT rate according to the VAT law, multiplied by the tax base of 20% of the total cost incurred and or paid for construction building, excluding the cost of land. When the value-added tax is payable on self-construction activities starting at the time this building is constructed until the building is completed. Self-building activities that are carried out in stage are considered as a single unit of activity as long as the grace period between the stage is not more than 2 years. The place where the value-added tax is payable for self-construction activities is the place where the building was erected. Payment of value-added tax payable on self-construction activity carried out every month in the amount of 10% multiplied by 20% multiplied by the total cost incurred and or paid each month. Must be deposited into the stage treasury through the post office or perception bank no later than the 15th day of the following month after the end of the tax period. In the event that the place where the building is erected is in the working area of KPP Pratama, where the individual or entity carry out construction activity is registered. The NPWP column listed in the tax payment letter is filled with the NPWP of the individual or entity. In the event that the place where the building is erected is the working area of the KPP Pratama, which is different from the KPP where the individual or entity carry out the construction activity themselves is registered. And then the tax payment letter is filled with the following provisions. A. The NPWP column is filled with 1. The number 0 in the first 9 digits. 2. The code number of the primary tax service office whose working area include the place where the building is erected is the next 3 digits. 3. The number 0 in the last 3 digits. B. In the taxpayer or depositor, both fill in the name and NPWP of an individual or entity that carry out its own building activity. In the event that an individual does not yet have an NPWP, the tax payment letter as referred to in paragraph 2 shall be filled with the following provision. A. NPWP column is filled with 1. The number 0 in the first 9 digits. 2. The code number of primary tax service office whose working area include the place where the building is erected in the next 3 digits, and the number 0 in the last 3 digits. And B. In the taxpayer or depositor box, fill in the name and address of an individual or entity that carry out its own building activities.
Hello everyone, I'm Aura. Now I will continue to explain check or verification of VAT in self-building activities. There are several information that you need to know. First, when the individual or the person who carried out the self-building activities does not carry out the obligation to deposit the value-added tax payable or reporting obligation, head of primary tax service office whose working area include the place where the building is established, or the head of tax service office where the registered taxpayer is registered, may issue a letter according to the sample format of Attachment Ministerial Regulation 163/PM Cost number 3/2012. And in here you can see the format of warning letter that I have told you before. And the second, when an individual or entity carried out self-building construction activities has deposited or reported value-added tax for self-construction activities, but based on the data owned and obtained by the Directorate General of Taxes, it is believed that there are indications of improper deposit or reporting. The head of primary tax service may issue an appeal letter. And here you can see the format of the appeal letter. And next, when an individual or entity carried out self-construction activities already has an NPWP but it is different from the place where the building is erected or established, the head of primary tax service will officially issue an NPWP as a branch in accordance with the provision of legislation in the field of taxation. Fourth, if within a period of 14 days after the issuance of warning letter and a letter of appeal, an individual or entity has not deposited and reported the value-added tax payable for self-building activities, the head of the primary tax service office whose working area includes the place where the building is established can verify or do inspection to determine the amount of value-added tax payable for self-building activity. And after the head of primary tax service office do the inspection and verification and pass on the result, they find the things below. First, the taxpayer does not provide the data of supporting evidence of the cost incurred or paid to construct the building, so the total cost incurred and or erected to construct the building shall be determined. The position passed on the lowest value from the data on the state building unit price for each region in accordance with the decree of Minister of Public Works number 45 PRT M 2007 concerning technical guideline in first. Second, if the taxpayer provided data or supporting evidence of costs incurred or paid to build the building but are incorrect or incomplete, so the cost is determined by the Director General of Taxes. First, total cost incurred or used to construct a building is lower than the lowest data on the state building unit price, then determination is determined based on the lowest data on the state building unit price. Second, if the amount cost incurred to construct a building is higher than the lowest data on the state building unit price, determined based on supporting data or evidence issued and are erected to construct a building. Okay, next we move to the example of question. In 2013, Mr. Badu decided to build a 400 meter cubic house. The costs incurred are 150 million for materials and 60 million for the worker wages. So the tax must be collected or issued as we multiply the rate with the total amount of cost that we paid. The rate is 10% multiplied by 20% and the total amount is 110 million. And from the calculation we get tax 4,200,000 rupiah. And here it is example of special relationship through management. Mr. Ahmad is the President Director of PT Alpha. He is also a President Director of PT Beta. In this case, there is a special relationship between PT Alpha and PT Beta. And then through the use of technology. Example, PT A is a company that produces beverage using formula created by PT B. In this case, PT A and PT B have special relationship because there is a mastery through the use of technology by PT B to PT A. Okay, I think that's all from us. Thanks for your attention. Sorry for our mistake and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.